solid state, chapter number 12. We are going to revise it. Okay, so in this chapters, the very important things are there in your NEET and JEE examinations. Also, you will get around 1 to 2 questions from here. So this, from that NEET and JEE examination point of view, also this chapter is important. Plus, this chapter is important for the board examinations as well. In your Nagaland Board of School Educations, you will get around 4 mark to 6 mark from this chapter. So this chapter becomes very important. And here you have mostly the numericals problems which we need to do. Before going into that, we have to understand some basic concepts on this. Okay, once again, this is Suraj Kumar and welcome you to my channel, Density Classes. Okay, so today the first things which we are going to discuss is solid. Okay, what is solid? Okay, so you can say that solid is what all of you have studied in class 8 and also what is solid. It is nothing but it is you can say that it is the substances which have definite shape, size and rigid structure. Okay, so you can say that solid is what it is, the substances which has definite shape and size and are rigid in natures. Okay, they are rigid in natures means they are not soft, they are hard to touch. Got it or not? So they are called as what? Solid. So solid is the substances which has definite shape and size and rigid in natures. So they will be very hard, and the solid has a definite shape and size. For example, this marker, it is a solid. If you touch it, it is hard and it has definite shape and size. It is having a cylindrical shape. So this one will be considered as what? Solid. Okay. Now basically, solid can be classified into two types. Okay, what are they? They are called crystalline. Okay, crystalline, and number 2, it is called as what? Amorphous. Okay, so crystalline solid and amorphous solid. So in crystalline solid, what is there? And crystalline solid, you will see all the constituent particles. Okay, all the constituent particles. Okay, all the constituent particles are arranged. Okay, here all the constituent particles will be arranged in regular order. Okay, so here in the crystalline solid, you will see that all the constituent particles will be arranged in what? In a regular order. Regular order means what? I'll tell you. Suppose they will follow the constituent, or you can say that they will follow a continuous order. Okay or not? Suppose here one, it is one kind of constituent is there, then here also one kind of constituent, here also one kind of, same kind of constituent particles, it will be repeating throughout the structure. Okay or not? So those solids, we call it as what? Crystalline solid, in which all the constituent particles are arranged in a regular order. Whereas amorphous solid, all the constituent particles, okay, constituent particles here, all the constituent particles are arranged. Okay, all the constituent particles here, they are arranged in irregular order. Okay, are arranged in irregular order. Got it or not? Suppose one example I will tell you. Suppose here in the constituent particles, if you see in the crystalline solid, you will see if the constituent particles are in this way, for example, then here also you will see the constituent particles, it will be in this way only. Here also it will be this way only. Got it? So this is what? They are following some certain order in their arrangement. So they are called as what? Crystalline solid. Crystalline solid examples, we can say that elements like NaCl, KCl, then again you can say that silver, gold, all these are what? Crystalline solids. Okay, got it? Now coming to the amorphous. So in the case of amorphous, you will see the arrangement is not regular. Suppose here one is this way, then other will be this, one will be this way, other will be this way, other will be this. Here 2 will be this way, and 2 will be downside, 2 will be downside this way. So here arrangement, you can see that it is not a regular arrangement, right? Arrangements is different. Here the arrangement is regular, whereas here the arrangement is different. Okay, after every short interval of time the arrangements changes here in amorphous, whereas in crystalline you will see throughout the structure they will have the same kind of structure, they will have the same kind of arrangement. So they are called as what? Crystalline solid. And the one in which after every short interval of time the arrangement changes, they are called as what? Amorphous solid. Okay, in crystalline solid you should remember they have long range order. Okay, long range order. Crystalline solid, they have long range order. Long range order means what? They will follow the orders, they will follow the order of the arrangement for a longer periods of time. So they will be following the order of arrangement for a longer distance. Whereas in case of amorphous, you will see the order of arrangement, it will not be followed for a longer distance. The constituent particles, see here, one up, one down, one up, one down, they have followed up to some extent. After that again 2 up, 2 down, they are following, right? Just this, I'm just drawing it in order to make you understand. Okay, so these are the constituent particles. So here you see the constituent particle arrangement, and in the next line you see again the order is changed. So they will be considered as what? Short range order. Okay, amorphous is considered as short range order. Got it? So dear students, I hope it is clear. So what is a solid? Solid is the substances which has definite shapes, size and rigid in nature. They are rigid in nature, they are hard to touch. Okay, then solid are divided into two. What are they? Crystalline solid, and next one is what? Amorphous solid. Okay, so in the crystalline solid we have seen that crystalline solid, all the constituent particles, they are arranged in a regular 3D arrangements. Okay or not? And they are long range order. They have a long range order, means they will follow the arrangement for a longer distance. Whereas in case of amorphous solid, you will see that all the constituent particles are arranged in irregular order, and they have a short range order. Short range order means after some interval of times, after some interval you will see that their constituent particles arrangement will change. After again little bit of interval, their arrangement will change. So they are called as what? Short range, and they are called as long range order. Okay, dear students, hope it is clear. This point is clear. These are basic things. We are just revising the chapters. Okay, these are the basic things. I hope you have understood. Then you can take it down the things. Okay, so next what we are going to do is we are going to study what are the characteristics of this what are the characteristics of amorphous and crystalline solid. Okay, so we will write amorphous here, crystalline solid, and here we'll write amorphous solid. So this is amorphous solid and this is crystalline solid. What is the difference in there? What are the differences in these two? We are going to see. The first difference is what I have already told you. Okay, here arrangement is, in crystalline solid you will see the arrangements are regular. Arrangement is regular here, whereas in this case you will see the arrangements are irregular. My handwriting is little bad, so please forgive me for that. Okay, arrangement is regular in crystalline solid, whereas in amorphous solid you will see that the arrangements are irregular. Second point, they are having long range force. Okay, they follow long range order, whereas in amorphous you will see they have short range order. Got it? So these 2 points, I hope it is clear. Arrangement is regular in crystalline solid, whereas in amorphous solid you will see that the arrangement is irregular. Here it is having long range force, here it is having short range force. Okay, got it, dear students? Okay, fine. Then next point, you can write it here. Crystalline solid, they have sharp melting point. Sharp melting point. Okay, the crystalline solid, they have sharp melting point. What does it mean? Suppose if some substances we have taken and they are crystalline in nature, if their melting point is 80 degree, okay, Celsius, then that particular substances, it will melt exactly at 80 degrees 80 degrees Celsius temperature. It's not that after reaching 79 it will start melting. It's not like that. It will exactly reach 80 degrees Celsius, then only it will start melting. That is the meaning of sharp melting point. Whereas in case of amorphous, you will see that they do not have sharp melting point. Okay, they do not have sharp melting point. That means whenever suppose the melting point is 80 degrees Celsius, so the moment the temperature reaches to suppose 77 or 78, something near to it, it will start melting. That means in amorphous, they do not have the sharp melting point, whereas in crystalline solid, you will see that their melting point is very sharp. Okay, got it? Next, you will see crystalline solid. This point is very, very important for the CBSE students and for NBSC also, because this from this point generally 1 mark question used to come. Okay, so in crystallines, you will see that crystalline, they are in crystalline solid, some of the physical, okay, okay, you will see that in crystalline solid, they have an anisotropic nature. Okay, an isotropic nature. What is that? I'll explain to you. An isotropic nature, whereas this amorphous solid, they have isotropic nature. Now, what is an isotropic nature? I'll tell you. Suppose these are the constituent particles. Okay, got it? These are the constituent particles. Suppose here. Okay, if I go in this direction, suppose if I am going in these directions, okay, A dash here, then you will see that the physical and chemical properties here, it will be different. It will have different physical and chemical properties here. But in this direction, the physical and chemical property of the substances is different, whereas if you go in these directions, B dash B, then in these directions you will find that the physical and chemical property of the substances is different. Those kind of substances in which the physical and chemical properties changes are different in different directions, they are called an isotropic nature. That substances is said to have an isotropic nature. So crystalline solid are an isotropic natures. Why? Because they have different physical and chemical properties in different directions. Okay, whereas isotropic nature means what? Whichever direction you go, the physical and chemical properties will remain same. For example, you see here, okay, whether you go in these directions or you go in these directions, the physical and the chemical property will remain same in isotropic nature. Whereas an anisotropic nature, you will see that the physical and the chemical properties, it will be different in different directions. This question has been asked in your CBSE board examinations twice or thrice, so it becomes very important. What do you mean by anisotropic nature? Anisotropic nature means those substances which has different physical and chemical property in different directions. We call it as what? Anisotropic nature substances. Okay, so these are some basic differences between the crystalline solid and amorphous solid, which I have discussed with you and which need to be discussed. Okay, others, many more are there, but we don't need to discuss much in details. So since it is a revision, so I hope all of you have understood. Okay, so you can take it down. Next we are going to discuss another types. Okay, next topic we are going to discuss. Okay, so hope you have taken down, pause the video and take down. Okay, and yeah, study hard. Okay, the lockdown has been already lifted, and now it's time for all of you to start studying hard, because already we have reached, which month is going on? September. Okay, so very soon you will be sitting for your board examinations also, dear students. So it's better to start studying hard. Okay, now we are going to study about classification of crystalline solid. Okay, now we are going to classify the crystalline solid. Classification of crystalline solid. Okay, classifications of crystalline solid. Here, this topic is also very important for your board examination, dear students. Choose the correct and all, you will get a questions from here, so it becomes a very important topic. So all of you try to understand and try to learn it properly. Okay. So classification of crystalline solid on the basis of constituent particles. Okay, got it or not? So on the basis of on the basis of type of constituent particles, we are classifying the crystalline solid. So the first one is what? Molecular solid. Molecular solid. Okay, so molecular solid. Okay, now we have learned about the crystalline, amorphous. Now again, crystallines are classified, okay, into various types. We are going to discuss that. For that I have drawn a table. This table is very important for your board examinations as well as for the competitive examinations, okay, both for state board as well as the CBSE. So what is the topic here? We are going to discuss now classification of crystalline solid. Instead of writing different I have just made it a table and compile it into a one table. Let us try to understand. Okay, so types of solids, we can classify the crystalline solids into number one, molecular solid. This classification, again I'm telling you, dear student, this classification is basically done on the basis of types of constituent particles of which the solids, crystalline solids, are made up of. Means this classification is purely on the basis of types of you can say types of constituent particles. Okay, so the first classification of crystalline solid on the types of on the basis of constituent particles are number one, molecular solid. Okay, by the name itself it is very clear. Molecular solid means what? Those crystalline solid which will be made up of what? Molecules. So constituent particles here is what? Small covalent molecules. So this molecular solid, they are generally made up of what? Small you can say molecular covalent solid. Okay or not? Molecular solid are made up of small covalent molecules. Okay, constituent particle is small covalent molecules. Now if we see the bonding attractive force, means what is the bond, what is the attractive force which they keep them together? So the attractive force here, it is called as what? Dispersion force, or we can call it as dispersion force, bonding attractive force. So here the force which is keeping the molecular solids together are maybe dispersion force or London force. Okay, example of the solid are what? Molecular solids. The examples we will be writing here. Here is electrical conductivity, whether it conduct electricity or not, we are going to discuss that. So coming down, molecular solid we have seen. Now molecular solid, again we have divided into three categories. Very important part for your board examinations. So molecular solids are divided into number one, polar solids. Polar solids are what? Non-polar solids. Okay, so non-polar solids is what? Non-polar solids are made up of what? Non-polar molecules. So what are non-polar molecules? Examples you can see here, I2, H2, they are what? Monoatomics. Okay, they are called as homogeneous atoms. Homogeneous atom means those atoms which are made up of those molecules which are made up of what? Same kind of atoms. So this one, it is called as homogeneous you can say molecules. They are made up of same type of atoms. As a result, there will be no differences in the electronegative force in between them. So the electrons will be exactly in the middle. It will not shift in any one places. So they are called as what? Non-polar molecules. Okay, and what is the force which is acting between them? The dispersion force or the London force, which is a very weak force. Got it or not? Dispersion force or London force, it is considered to be the very weak force. And what is their electrical behavior? Non-polar solids, they are actually an insulator. Okay, non-polar solid, they generally act as an insulators. Okay, fine. The second type of molecular solid we have is polar solid. So polar solid is made up of generally polar molecules. And what is the force of attractions between them? The dipole-dipole interactions. Which interactions they have? They have dipole-dipole interactions, because polar molecules, they will generally form a dipoles, and in between the dipole there will be an interactions. Okay, about this in detail you will be studying in the chemistry chapter number 4. Okay, so polar molecules, polar solids are made up of polar molecules. The constituent particle is polar molecules, and the bond of attractions between them is what? Dipole-dipole interactions. So this question has been asked in your board examinations 2 times. And what is the example of it? HCl or SO2 is a best example of polar solid. And what are the electrical behavior? They are insulator. Next, third type of molecular solid we have is hydrogen bonded. So molecule containing hydrogen bond. Okay, so constituent particles are what? Those molecules containing hydrogen bond, like H2O, it contains a hydrogen bond. So H2O is also an example of what? Hydrogen bonded molecular solid. So the force which is acting between them is what? Hydrogen bonding. Example, H2O, ice, and they are also an insulator. Electrically they are insulator. Okay, next, the second type of solid we are going to see is ionic solid. So ionic solid, basically it is made up of which kind of constituent particle? It is made up of positive or negative ions. Okay, ionic solids are basically made up of positive or negative ions. What is the forces acting in between them? The force which is acting in between the ionic solids are a strong electrostatic force, which is very, very strong. So that's why you will see that the ionic substances, the bonding is very, very strong. So the strong electrostatic force will be acting in an ionic solid, or you can say it as Coulombic force will be acting in them. So example for the ionic solids are what? CSF2, KCl, Zn, NGO, NaCl. NaCl is the easiest and the simplest example, the most common example of ionic solid. Okay, and ionic solid, they what about their electrical behavior? They are acting as an insulator in a solid state, but when they are in an ionic state, they act as a conductor. Next, the third type is what? Metallic solid. So metallic solid is what? They are generally made up of what? Positive ions. Okay, metallic solids, they generally made up of what? Positive charges. Okay, and what is the bonding between them? Metallic bonding. Okay, example, copper, irons, magnesium, all these are examples of what? Metallic solid, and they are what? Good conductor of electricity. Okay, dear students, the last type of metallic solid is left. The last type of solid is left. We will discuss it. Take it down. So the last type of solid we have here is what? Covalent solid or neutral network solid. So covalent solid, generally it is made up of what? Atoms. The constituent particles here is atoms. Bonding, which type of bonding they have? They have covalent bonding, and examples for this will be what? Quartz, diamond, graphite. So these are the examples of what? Covalent solid. And covalent solid, they are an insulator. Electrically they are acting as an insulator, except graphite, which is a good conductor of electricity. So these tables tells us about the classifications of types of crystalline solid. Okay, so once again, if you revise, there are 4 types of crystalline solid: molecular solid, ionic solid, metallic solid, covalent solid. Constituent particles we have discussed. What type of forces is acting between them we have discussed. Examples we have discussed, and electrically whether they are conductor, insulator, or semiconductor we have discussed. So this table is very, very important. Okay, not only for board examinations but for all other examinations. So dear students, try to learn these tables properly. Okay, got it? And with this we will wind up today's videos, because it will become again too lengthy, so it will be difficult for you. And if you are getting benefit, if my videos is beneficial to you, don't forget to subscribe my channel, okay, and share with your friends so that they can also get a benefit from this channel. Thank you.